After what feels like years of rumours, Bethesda finally revealed and released Oblivion Remastered to much fanfare, bringing back one of gaming's best games with a fresh coat of paint. Oblivion Remastered is being called the gold standard of what a remaster should be. So I decided to pose one question. If only one game from each major studio could get a remaster of the same or better quality of Oblivion, which games would they be? Well, let's double dip a little bit and start back at Bethesda. And let's just pretend there's a clean slate. If Oblivion never happened, as a biased Fallout fan, of course I'd want to pick Fallout 3 or even Fallout New Vegas, although that's an Obsidian game, but it's still a Bethesda published title, so I'm counting that. But Morrowind should be remastered. New Vegas and 3 are at the very least a playable journey on most platforms, whereas Morrowind could really benefit from an upgrade that brings the game to modern consoles and provides some much needed quality of life options that could elevate the game to another level. It could also do with a complete overhaul of its combat and general game mechanics, but some may call that a full remake, and I can definitely see that as an argument. However, it's been proven how good a remaster of an old Elder Scrolls game can be already, so why not give Morrowind a try? Now let's move on to one of gaming's biggest developers, Nintendo. There are hundreds of Nintendo games that could be remastered, so it's time to bring in my biases again and pick one of my childhood favourites. I'm going to try to avoid games that have had remasters or remakes or even prominent re-releases, which might be hard and I'll probably slip up and let a few slide through, but at least I tried. Nintendo loves to bring back some of their old favourites. I really had to think about this one because of the above reasons, and I came to the conclusion that I'd love to see Mario and Luigi Partners in Time get remastered. The series just recently made a comeback, and I can see this as a possibility. It's stuck on the DS and Wii U Virtual Console, which obviously no one's playing, and is one of my favourite DS games of all time. Are there any Nintendo games you want to see remastered? Let me know so we can discuss those in the comments. I nearly went with one of either Pokemon Colosseum, XD Gale of Darkness, or even the old Pokemon Stadium games, but I just couldn't decide, so I went in a completely different direction with Mario and Luigi instead. The more I researched for this, the more I realised just how many remasters or remakes actually exist. The same goes for Sony's catalogue of games. I was ready to come in with the original God of War 1 and 2, but both technically received remasters, albeit around 15 years ago, so. I also planned to say Ratchet and Clank, but that was kinda remade and rebooted in 2016, so, although that is questionable considering it's not exactly the same game. But instead, I decided to go with another childhood favourite, that being Killzone 2. I could have gone with any of the early Killzone games, but I know a lot of people love 2, and it's a fan favourite for many, so I just had to pick that one. It's a game, and honestly a series, that could use a lot of life as it begins to fade into obscurity. So why not bring back the series' bests with a bang? Upgraded visuals and gunplay on modern consoles could introduce a whole new range of fans to one of PlayStation's best shooters. Killzone was actually developed by Guerrilla Games, who are the people responsible for the Horizon series, so it's unlikely for this to happen. I think they've given up on the series as a whole, but you never know. Square Enix is next on my list, and this is an easy one: Chrono Trigger. There are weekly reports and rumours surrounding a potential remaster or remake for one of the consensus best games ever. Yet we stand here in 2025 and there's nothing in sight. At the very least, a remaster of Chrono Trigger would be a very intriguing option, and all you need to do is look at the recent Final Fantasy Pixel remasters to see how it's done. I don't think I need to say much more in regards to this one. Honestly, might be one of the easiest choices I've made with this list, and I'd be shocked if we don't see some form of remaster or remake for Chrono Trigger in the near future. These next few are going to be quickfire, so listen in. I feel like they are self-explanatory. So Ubisoft should remaster the first Assassin's Creed game. It's dated and by far the one game in the series that is the hardest to get into. I could even advocate for a remake, but I'll stick with remaster for now. EA is along a similar path with Dragon Age Origins. As much as people don't want to admit it, Origins has not aged perfectly, and as someone who played through all of the Dragon Age games within the past few years, I can say that the game is a prime candidate for a remaster, just to breathe some new life into the franchise altogether. For Take-Two Interactive, the parent company of Rockstar Games, this is a little trickier, as we've seen remasters for many of their classic games such as Bully, many of the GTA games, and even the Max Payne games, which are making a return very soon. So I'm gonna go with LA Noire here. I love this game, however its revolutionary facial expression motion capture is held back in modern times because it's just dated and doesn't look or feel that great to play as a whole. There's a lot of things that this game could benefit from, and a remaster could really enhance the experience and polish off a lot of those issues, maybe even expanding it a little further with some intriguing side content and even some extra cases thrown in. I know that moves towards remake territory a little bit, but it is what it is. I personally would prefer a sequel, but I can't deny my interest in a remaster either, and a sequel is unlikely, so why not? Now, I need to cut this video off somewhere, so we're going to end it off with Microsoft. Microsoft are building their Infinity Gauntlet by collecting big name studios, including Bethesda, which I mentioned separately simply because I wanted a direct comparison to Oblivion with Morrowind. So this time around, let's pick a game from an entirely different developer under the Microsoft and Xbox banner. This was maybe the most difficult one to pick, as Microsoft are just slinging out remakes, remasters, and re-releases left, right, and centre. Fable and Perfect Dark are getting reboots. Many of Xbox's biggest franchises are moving over to PlayStation, such as the Gears of War series. I can't even really cheat here and add Banjo-Kazooie, which Microsoft now own because it was re-released in 2015 along with many other rare games. So what do I choose? How about Forza Horizon? And I'm talking about the first game here. I know the new game is getting moved over to PlayStation as well, but the first Forza Horizon is now delisted and it's just unavailable everywhere due to licensing issues. A remaster with updated car licenses, better driving mechanics that reflect the more recent games, while retaining the core gameplay and the world of the original. There's nothing bad about that. That sounds pretty good to me as a Forza Horizon fan. You can honestly also say this about any of the older Horizon games, but at least most of them, except for 2, which I believe also has licensing issues, are still available on online stores. So what do you think about these picks? It was quite a hard list to come up with, honestly, after looking over everything, but which games would you like to see remastered just like Oblivion? Let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe while you're down there. I'll see you next time.